What if the secret to success wasn't just talent or hard work, but unshakable confidence? Welcome to Grasp Confidence, the podcast where visionary thought leaders, speakers, and entrepreneurs unlock the mindset and strategies for lasting success. I'm your host, Tara LaFawn Gooch, CEO, two-time best-selling author, and international TEDx speaker, and I can't wait to help you step into the most powerful version of yourself. Let's dive in. What does it look like to turn life's biggest and toughest battles into victories of faith? Kelley is a keynote speaker, two-time best-selling author of Addicted to the Climb and The One Prayer, a breast cancer survivor, four-time national bikini champion, and a woman who's overcome depression through her unwavering faith and prayer. Today, she co-hosts the top-rated podcast Chosen by Jesus with her daughter, who's also joining us today, Taylor Tyan, where together they share wisdom and inspiration that empowers women to live boldly in their purpose. Join us today in welcoming Kelley and Taylor to Grasp Confidence Podcast. Ladies, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you.
Thank you. We're so excited to be here.
Well, I'm excited to have you guys. Number one, you're gorgeous, right? Everybody knows it's like Kelley and Taylor. You guys are so beautiful. I love their presence. I love your presence. I love your energy. I love your podcast. I love the speeches you give to audiences. Very inspirational. Your books, Kelley, are very inspirational as well. But what I really love, and I think is so cool, is that you guys have chosen to partner together on this podcast and through other things like keynote speaking and coaching. And that gives me so much inspiration because I have a daughter. She's 9, a little different age gap. But I think about the future and what we could do together just watching you two. So I would love to hear a little bit about that mix and how that's going for you guys.
Yeah. I mean, I will say, let your daughter grow into it because I was not always like this. If you know. But I mean, your daughter's going to have her phases, very much so, as any, young woman adulting and growing up and learning about themselves. But since we've joined and said that we're going to do this together, it's been a blessing. It's been beautiful. The fact that we get to collaborate as a mother and daughter, it's like everything I could ever ask for and more. I'm sure you could say the same.
Oh my gosh. For me, it's crazy, Tara. It's just a dream. And we are just constantly in prayer and letting God lead and show us the way and how we can just be a light for women, across the generations. And that's really what our passion is. We're really obsessed. It's funny. I was telling someone today that my daughter, Taylor, she's the kind of girl that you'll meet in the bathroom and she'll be like, "You're so gorgeous. What lipstick using?" And she's very complimentary. She's very into uplifting women and making them feel good. So tying in faith to that is just a whole other level. When we can empower women to even have faith on their journey in life, and doing it together is really a dream.
I bring Jesus up in the bathroom sometimes.
You too. You do bring him up everywhere you go.
Gosh, everywhere I go. But even so, like for how this even got started, we found ourselves, every day we would go through things and we would be each other's support system and we'd have conversations. I'd come home from work and I'd call my mom and be like, "Oh, I just had the worst day," or I'd have something go on and, life throws you curveballs every other day. And for us to be so supportive of one another and literally get each other through each circumstance that we've ever been through, whether it's me calling you, you calling me, we always are the ear for each other to, if we're going down or crashing, listen, like this is what God wants. Like this is what this Bible verse or scripture would say to help you in this aspect. And we were actually at one of our spots at the park one day, and mom goes, people should be listening. Like, we could give advice and help us just as a team, like a little mother daughter duo, helping each other on a daily. What would it be like to have an audience and a community eventually and help real people, real women, real men, that
Right.
we're not the only ones going through things. Everybody always has stuff. And it was rocky, like I said in the beginning. And I wish I just came out of the womb and I was like this, but I will can't lie. I've had a lot of faults to get here, but again, that's what I say it in a lot of our episodes, that we wouldn't be here if we didn't go through all the trials and
Right.
faults to get to where we are today. And now our main mission is just to empower others to feel good and
Yes.
take on anything, because you really can with the Lord.
Exactly. And that's another thing that she just said. If I could just add to that, it's a lot of our brokenness. If, any of your listeners decide to listen to Chosen by Jesus, we would love that. But our first episode is actually our testimony of actually how we got here. And we came from a very broken place at one point. Even though we loved Jesus, we were battling demons, both of us together. Not going to spill the beans here, but we were in a battle for many years. And so we knew that was time. Everything Taylor said is spot on. We always talk about Jesus. We help each other get through things. And we're like, let's just share our real story and tell people what it really looks like behind the scenes of Kelley and Taylor and the mother-daughter relationship that we have today and how we got here. So I know that was a lot, but that's really how the journey's been and how it's going. And yeah, we're just excited. We're really obsessed about empowering others.
Yeah.
I love that. And such a natural entrepreneur, because if you're an entrepreneur, you never actually turn off your brain and you're always thinking of a new business idea, right? And
Yes.
I love the fact that you brought your daughter into this. I think that is so fun and empowering. And the cool thing too with you guys is that you do hit those different generational people. So you can help families, you can help individuals, more than one person in a family. And I think ultimately that's the real solution. It's rarely with one person do we solve a problem well. It's generally the person and the environment they're in. And the environment we're in is oftentimes our family, right? That's who we spend the most time with. And I feel like, if one person is struggling with their faith, with aligning with their calling, which is a topic that you and I are both passionate about as well, just that general, like building a support, building that foundation for that person is really critical, because it's so easy. It's so easy to fall short. It's so easy to make mistakes. It's so easy to fail by yourself, isn't it?
Oh my gosh. And it's very lonely by yourself.
Yeah.
That's what I know. Being an entrepreneur, I like to have that sisterhood around me and the team and support. So we're really big on that aspect of what we're doing and what the future looks like for us.
I love that. That is so cool. So, you guys are both going to be speakers at our upcoming From Calling to Confidence event in Cabo, St. Lucas, Mexico, which is so cool. I told you this was something that it just kind of came as like a divine kind of download assignment, however you want to look at it. I was sitting on a layover in the Salt Lake City airport. My plane was delayed. I was supposed to get on a plane, and we packed up the plane. We were on the plane, and then they kept having issues with the plane. I certainly don't want to be on a plane with issues. So I was happy that the flight got canceled, right? We didn't have quite a backup plan just yet, but we waited in the terminal. And then, 2.5 hours or so passed, and I just had time.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I said a quick prayer. First off, it was an acknowledgement of gratitude. Thank you so much. I'm really glad I didn't get on that plane, right? So thankfully, the issues were at ground level. Always happy about that. So I said, I know I was given this time for a reason. What was it? And I just left it open-ended. Immediately, a message said, I want you to help my daughters
I love
step
that.
into their callings with confidence. It's time to be confident in their God-given identities.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, right? Wow, what is that? What does that mean? And it was like retreat, and it was a book, and it was this, and it was this. And I just started putting in action. Had my laptop and I just started Googling, what is this? What should I do with this? Right. And all the things just like dominoes just started happening. And that's how it happens. That's how it works, isn't it? But I
Yes.
think just in that little story is so interesting, right? In that little tiny story, there's so much to unpack. There's so many gifts there. But the immediate thing was I said, I'll call Kelley. And I did. I think I called you the next day.
Yes.
And said, Kelley, I have this idea. I don't know. What do you think about it?
I was like, yes. So right away, I'm like all in.
All for helping.
I love it's right in my wheelhouse. Like that's what I love to do. Like I said about being isolated, right when you called me, my heart felt
Another
so
question,
peaceful, just thinking and visualizing being in the room with these women. There's a very big difference. Yes, I love Zoom. Listen, we do coaching through Zoom calls so we can hit everyone in different cities, in different states. That's great. But there's nothing like being in the room, putting your hands on, praying for women, lifting them up, holding them up, cheering for them face to face. There's nothing like it. And so whenever there's an opportunity, unless God says no, then I'm going.
I love that. And it just, so happened that you and Taylor had recently started the podcast
Yes.
Chosen by Jesus. And I just thought, well, this is just too perfect. So, let's see how this works. And, things just work in their own way. And it's funny too. So, I came to this conclusion, and not I came to this conclusion, but this reached me, right? This message reached me and said that this is something that I should pursue. Okay. But then it's interesting, I was in the middle of writing a book, not even in the middle, I was pretty much finished writing this book on leadership and how to be a confident leader. And I was working on a book deal, and the book agent said that the leadership market's too saturated. We don't need any more leadership books. I'm sorry. And I said, oh man, at first I was like, man, I failed at this. I said, you know what? No. I'm not going to accept that because I have a calling. And I knew God was calling me. I picked up the phone and I said, Susan, do you have a minute? And I said, what about forget the leadership book? Meanwhile, I had already written, I think 60 something thousand words. Keep that in mind. I said, forget the leadership book. It doesn't matter. I'm a writer, right? But I said, forget the leadership book. Forget it. Don't even think about it. What about a book called From Calling to Confidence, where I teach women how to align their God-given identities through Christ? She said, that's the book.
I love it. Yep.
That's the
So
book.
good. Yeah.
Rejection is only redirection, isn't it?
Exactly.
Right.
I was
Story?
Yes.
Cool story,
God
right?
doors and reopens them for even bigger things.
Yes.
It's amazing.
It is.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. I would just love to hear from you guys. I'm sure people that are listening to this, they know about your work. They hear Kelley's a 4-time bikini champion and author and all this amazing stuff. But I want to go back a little bit to when times were a little different for you guys, right? Because now I know we're super faith centered. We've got a lot of things going on. You guys are like the pinnacle of success for a lot of people they're looking to as leaders. But I'm assuming things weren't always this way. Could you guys take us back to a time when things were a little different for you?
Well, As being mother and daughter, I mean, that is in itself
A
very
challenge.
tumultuous, with her, to say the least. She grew up in a Christian home. I grew up in a Christian home. So we always had faith as the foundation in our home. But teenagers decide to live their own lives and do things that are on their time
Yeah.
schedules. And
Yeah.
and I did the same thing, but it was very hard.
But we
It,
argue. We got
yes,
into, we didn't have the relationship that we do today.
right,
Yes, we had a faith background, but at
right.
least for me, that was just words. I didn't open the Bible. I didn't know I didn't have a relationship with God at all. I just,
Mhm.
okay, yeah, but I was brought up. I went to church when I had to. I do Bible study. But that wasn't my passion per se. Like, I didn't want to do it until, it's like when you're younger, and sometimes maybe for others it's not like this, but for me, going to church was a force in my family. It was like a check box off the list.
Yep.
Like, oh, I went to church. My mom has a smile on her face. I'm gonna go do all the things that church just told me not to do because I'm a teenager. That's just what it is.
Yep.
Not to say, let's pray your 9-year-old doesn't make the same mistakes I did, but she's going to have,
Right.
flaws. And it's, we grow up and we had so many flaws, and me and my mom would lash out at each other. I'd
Mhm.
want to run away from the house. Let's be real. Like,
You did.
I
She did.
Oh, I
She
very
would
well
run
did.
away.
I
I'd be up
did.
all night crying.
Yeah,
It was awful. I mean, it was
we
hard for a
clashed
while.
because I blamed her a lot for the burden that I felt in my heart. And we could, touch a little bit on it, basically, where my mother, she was with someone prior to my father, and that's how I got here. And I, for so many years, didn't understand. I had this void, this gap in my heart that, oh, she's with our father now.
Her dad now.
My dad,
My husband.
her husband, and life's great. And I'm like, did you forget about me and all these emotions that I've had to bottle up throughout X amount of years because
Mhm.
nothing was acknowledged? My brother's 19. He just found out where I really came from
A few
years
years ago.
ago.
Mhm.
So it was a lot of trial and error and us
Yeah.
getting mad and angst and
And not talking
not
about it.
talking about
I didn't want to talk
everything.
about it because here I was. I just wanted people to see the exterior. Look at the tie-ins, the four of them.
Yeah,
They're a
and
perfect
drove me
family.
nuts.
And I had this facade that I was just trying to literally push it down and not talk about it because
And it was like,
it was very hard for me because Taylor met I met my husband when Taylor was 3,
yeah.
and we instantly fell in love, got
Mhm.
married, adopted Taylor right away, took her in as her
The
own.
greatest thing that's ever happened.
Yes, like their daddy daughter.
Real acknowledge.
That is something. It is the most special thing. I could cry looking at her and her daddy because they have the best relationship I've ever seen in a family, and I'm jealous. I didn't even have that with my dad, but I tried so hard to pretend that we were all a happy family.
Great.
And I didn't want to acknowledge that something happened prior to me getting married. And so I never brought it up with her. And I didn't know she was battling this because I never talked to her about it. So it caused a lot of tension, a lot of stress, a lot of pain for both of us, though. As much as I was pretending, I was hurting inside. And because I was
Felt
holding
like
it
you
all in.
knew that the little girl that was growing up problematic and lashing out wasn't really the girl that I wanted to be, like the
Yeah.
one. So it was hard for both of us. But after, and I will say this to everybody listening, communication, whether it's a mother, a daughter, a
Mhm.
son, a father, a
Yeah.
relationship, a school teacher that maybe you're just not getting along or understanding, anything, everything has to do with communication.
Mhm.
And when you don't, it's a downwards battle and
Yep.
nobody wins. So when we finally sat, looked each other in the eyes, she used to tell me, why do you not like me? Like, why do you not love me? And I'm like, I love my mother to death. You don't understand. I am struggling. I'm going through pain right now. And it took us to literally sit down with one another,
Mhm.
speak our emotions. Yeah, that involved a little bit of lashing out, and you
Mhm.
got to get nitty gritty before it all goes smooth, right?
Right.
But it wasn't until we faced what was going on deep down. And
Yep.
if you disregard that and you're bottling up emotions your
Mm.
whole life, you're going to go through life just with a pout like I did and
Yep.
not understand. But when you approach what's really happening deep
Yeah.
down and you talk about that, and then to top it off, when we tied Jesus into it,
Mm.
I didn't know where my was headed in this. I was the state of depression, not feeling worthy enough.
Mm.
When Jesus, I finally opened the Bible, but it had to be again for
On
the
your
young
terms.
people on
Yes.
my terms.
Yes.
I couldn't, I grew up, yeah, my grandma, let's go to church, let's do this, let's do that. It wasn't for me yet in my heart when I felt like I needed him and I surrendered everything to Jesus,
Yeah.
God himself.
Yeah.
That's when I started to notice a difference. That's when
Mm.
I read the Bible and it wasn't hieroglyphics. I'm like, this makes sense.
Right.
You know, and
It all started making sense. And
yes.
that's when we, at that point, when you actually found your faith actually came alive in a
Yes.
new and different way. And it allowed us to be open with each other and say, Jesus is with us. Let's
Yeah.
talk about this. He wants us
We're okay.
to mend our relationship. He wants us to come clean. And that's really, really how this podcast started.
Yeah.
And we said we want to come clean with people. Like my neighbors never knew.
No.
Nobody knew. We had best friends that we've walked with that just thought Taylor and Tony were our two kids, and no one knew all
Brother didn't
that.
even know.
Her brother, right? I had to face my son
Yeah.
when he's 19, and we told him it was only 2.5 years ago when we had the talk, and I said, I have to tell you something. So it was rocky, to say the least, Tara. It was a hard journey, but a lot of times, if you even read biblical characters in the Bible, like Moses and all the people in the Bible, most of the time we go from broken to God piecing us back together and pulling us out of the pits and making us new and wiping away all the bad. And that's what he did for us. And that's how our relationship, it was almost like we started over.
But I wouldn't change a thing, because if we didn't go through all of this, and I think this is why we're so passionate, because yes, we had this circumstance now. I know so many thousands, 100,000s of people probably are going through the same, but it's not just that. It's the fact that our basis, our moral of our story is circumstances. Everybody has them. Life is filled with them, but those circumstances do not define you. How many people that used to be, overdosing on drugs and doing like the alcoholism, that are now TED Talk speakers, that are now, starting foundations, doing their stories. And it's the people where they don't walk through life happy-go-lucky all the time. You have to go through trials to really get to where you are today. So yes, it was a miserable 20 years, but I wouldn't change anything of it, because I've grown to be the woman and she's grown, both of us, to be that woman that we are today, where we are on this platform now, helping others. That's the most important thing. They're going through anything. We've been there. We want to extend our feelings and help you guys.
Right. Because it's like we all are battling through life in every single way. Life is really a battle. It's really,
of the mind.
We always say the mind is a battlefield. And if you don't just, like you said, I love that you mentioned communication, because that can be the downfall of so many relationships and divorces to, everything. You lose a child in the family breaks up because there's no communication. It's like, I see it all the time. And so that was a really good point, that talk to somebody, whether you call a therapist, get a coach. Maybe you don't want to talk to your family yet, talk about it to someone because we did it backwards. We did it wrong and it only hurt us.
Yeah.
But here we
It
are
made us
today.
stronger.
Yes.
Well, it's in those struggles that we are refined, right?
Mhm. Yep.
That it's sometimes those adversities, those struggles, those trials that is the refinement that actually equips us, to pursue our callings,
Yeah.
right? And without that struggle, you guys wouldn't be equipped to understand people going through the same struggles.
Mhm.
And that's how I try to, reframe struggle in my mind. It's not that I love struggle. I'm excited for struggle. I do a little happy dance when I get struggle, but I reframe it right in my mind to say an expression of gratitude. And I say, thank you, because this
Yeah.
must mean you are preparing me for my next whatever, right? And
Yes.
the gratitude. And when you are really tied into faith,
Yes.
it gives me the analogy I heard once that, when you have a braid, right? You have one strand here, you have one strand here, and then you have a third that brings it all together. And in a marriage, you would have the husband, the wife, and then the strand that makes it a braid is your relationship with God.
Right.
Yeah, I love
And when you have that, it's almost it's pretty much unbreakable. You can't really pull apart a braid, but you can pull apart a single strand. And when you especially bring your family into this, and go through those struggles and adversities together, it really refines you all to be more prepared to, pursue the divine assignments that you're really
Yeah.
meant to pursue, right?
Yes. Amen.
Preach.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
exactly right.
Yes. Hmm.
Yeah,
Love
we
it.
don't look at struggles as, I mean, even you just getting your plane delayed, you took it, just
I know.
walking with the Lord versus not is just day and night. You look at things, nothing can be on the bad side. It's all on the bright side. Okay, here's a roadblock here. Get excited. What does Jesus have in store? When one door closes, he's only opening a greater one.
Right.
And when you have that peace and you walk by
Yes.
faith, not by sight, your life is just lifted for the better.
Hmm. It's like it doesn't get easier, but it gets more. You have more peace walking
Yes.
through the fires because you know he's walking side by
With
side
you.
with you, and he will not let you burn down. And that's really what it's about for even me. Like you said, Tara, walking through the struggles. It's not like we get excited,
Right.
but we know that with the struggle, there's where we will get to the other side if we stay close to him and we keep going. We can't give up, throw the towel in just because we're going through something. I mean, we'd be nowhere. But we learn lessons. God equips us. He prepares us. He shows us, so
Yeah.
it's not about having the pity party when you're in something. It's just saying, okay, I got this.
Yep.
It's talking to yourself, talking to God, and pulling yourself back up and saying, let's do it together. And so that's how I get through everything.
Yes, me too.
I love that. I love that. I recently heard a phenomenal illustration, that really puts this all into perspective. In the Bible, it mentions that we are to, be refined like silver. And, um, people started, researching, well, what does that process look like, right? So someone went to a silversmith and kind of watched what he was doing, right? Watched the process of him refining silver. And he said, well, you have to put it in the middle of the fire where it's the hottest. You got to put it right in the middle to burn away the impurities. And then they said, well, how do you know when it's done? How do you know when to pull it out? He said, oh, that's easy, when I can see my image in it.
Mm. Wow, that's
So
interesting.
Yeah.
think about that. It's
Yeah.
that refinement, that
Mhm.
struggle in the heat of the fire.
Yes.
It's to burn off those impurities And then when it's done, when you can see the image in it. And that's what walking with faith is like. I'm sure people come to you guys and say, "What is that glow? What cream do you have? Do you guys?" I get this question, right? Some people say, "What cream do you use?" I'm like, my skincare routine is like 50 cents.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yep, right? It's the relationship with God, right?
Just some holy oil. That's all.
The next time we're gonna say just some holy oil.
Just holy oil. You know what we always say?
The man
It's just
upstairs.
Jesus.
It's
We always
just
say,
Jesus.
it's just Jesus. That's
Just
it.
Jesus. It's a glow though, and the thing of it is that you can see his image in you. I had a gala that I went to last week, and somebody actually said that to me. It was this older woman. I just felt compelled to talk to her. And she said she could see the Lord in me. And I started crying and I said, "Well, if that's not the best compliment I've ever gotten in my life, right?" And I said,
Gosh.
"Isn't that the goal though? Isn't that the goal?"
Yes.
Yeah.
100% yes.
Yep. We want to be.
What do you guys think about the silver, the refinement, the silver? What I heard some goosebumps. I could almost hear the goosebumps.
Yeah. I mean, I love that. I mean, it's a beautiful way to think about it.
True. We're walking through fire
Right.
with these
Right.
circumstances and these trials,
And we're being chipped away. It's all the
well, he's not testing us, but we're, trying to whatever it may be, like us in our 20-year walking through the flames until we came out and finally saw who we are, who we're supposed
Right.
to be, and what God wants us to be. Like I said in the beginning of the episode, I didn't want to be that girl. I didn't recognize myself. That wasn't my reflection. I love that analogy of the silver because it speaks so truly to,
yeah.
I feel that in my heart, to me, and I'm sure you too, where I was in that fire for about 20 years, hardcore, melting off all of the bad things and the circumstances and all of these horrible thoughts in my head that finally, when I was ready, when you knew I was ready, you asked me to be a part of this podcast, I could finally see myself and who God really wanted me here.
Yes.
We all have a purpose in
And
life.
I knew too, you were ready.
Yeah. And some of us, unfortunately, and why we're so passionate about what we're doing is a lot of people in this day, they walk through life stuck in that flame and they'll never see the purpose that they have because it just takes a few steps. But if you don't know and you're surrounded by people that are kind of just coasting and they don't have this knowledge of the Holy Spirit and the Lord that's really laid out a biblical blueprint to life, I mean, I would have still been up in flames right now and maybe never have saw my reflection.
Right.
That I'm pure and that this circumstance of my father not being in my present life, just holding me to the ground and not letting me really break the shackles and become free of, Taylor, this circumstance happened, but this is your purpose. And I saw my reflection and I ran with it.
Yeah.
And when you see that reflection, it's the most beautiful thing,
isn't it?
In the whole entire world.
Yeah.
Like we want people, and I'm sure you do too, but we're here on this earth to help others see that reflection, see the purity of
themselves.
The
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that was awesome.
Yeah, we love that, Tara. We love that.
Yeah. I knew it would resonate with you guys for sure.
Yes. Because I used to say we're like pottery, the pottery of clay, getting it into the beautiful masterpiece that God knows
Some
we are.
spins than others.
Yeah. We start off as we said,
we were big blobs.
We started off as just a big blob of clay, and then over time he just molded us. That's what he does for all of us. So
I love that. I love that. And anything in life, even you guys work out a lot, so I'll use this. In order for your muscles to grow, they have to break down. You've got to kind of beat them into submission a little bit, right? Things have to be stretched and built and broke down, and then they can be rebuilt. And I mean,
Yes.
there's so many examples like that in life. Our own bodies, this is not just, a theoretical thing. This is, I think,
Right.
anything,
Right.
and that's why this is so timely, this message, so powerful, because a lot of people right now, they're struggling. They're struggling. They've got depression, they've got anxiety. I recently read a great quote about anxiety that changed the game for me, that said anxiety is practicing atheism. I never thought about it that way.
I I heard that. That's
I never
funny.
thought about it.
Yes.
But when you have Cody Sanchez, I
Cody
that's where
Sanchez
I've heard from.
said it.
Yeah.
Yes, that's where I heard it too, and I was like, wow.
So good. So good,
So
right? Yeah, when you
yes.
have faith in God, you
Yeah.
true faith. And this is why it's important to have a coach, somebody that can help you build that foundation. Because I work with a lot of entrepreneurs, and I see people, maybe they fail, they're anxious, they don't know where to start. Um they get, the systems, the bells, the whistles, and things just keep failing. And it's really because they don't have a stable foundation. And the stable foundation is always going to be our personal development, our relationship with our creator. And it's that self-leadership, but it's through your faith. And if you don't have that, nothing else will hold. The walls are going to fall inevitably. So this is
It-
so important, right? Because
yeah.
so many people are just struggling right now with anxiety, with depression, with all of these things, and they feel like they're failing. Kelly and Taylor, what do you think?
Yeah, 100%. And I think when it comes to anxiety, because I struggled with it, it's almost like y- it's practicing the negative thinking
Yes,
over
it
and
is.
over and not getting out of that bad cycle. Like I know I was getting comfortable in my panic, in my depression, and
Yep.
a whole other story. But I remember finally saying, I cannot do this anymore. It's going to have to be up to me to stop this. And I'm willing to take the step because I was literally practicing crying every day. I would do the same thing
Wow.
out of bed. I would just go to my crying place. Like
Really?
yes, it was a habit for me. I I almost felt up I almost felt, and maybe your listeners, if they go through anxiety or depression, can relate. I almost felt comfortable, and I didn't. I would keep myself there,
Yeah.
and I'd go hide in my crying place, and I would stay sad. And again, it wasn't until, and I loved Jesus at the time too, but again, these are all our choices.
Mhm.
Like we all have a choice to say, to get help, first of all, and to help ourselves. And for me, I said, Lord, I can't do this anymore. I
Yeah.
don't want to continue on this path because I know it's what you don't want me doing
It's
this.
not your call.
God is not calling us to be depressed and
Right.
overwhelmed and stressed out and in all of it, but it's up, we have to decide. I did it. So I know, I can speak from experience. I made the choice. I started reciting declarations over myself. I started creating I am statements to break free from the nastiness that I was thinking about. And that's how I finally took my steps with God by my side. I kept saying, I need you, Jesus. I need you, Jesus. I'm not going to be defeated today by my inner negative voice. I'm not going to be defeated. And then I'd lean on him, in little by little over time. It faded
Yeah.
slowly, but it did. And so I know if I can do it, I am no different than anybody else. I don't have special gifts. I don't have special superpowers. I'm a human. I'm broken, but I made a strong decision. You know how they say one decision can change your life? It's
Just
a
one.
true statement in everything.
Yep.
It's just one. That's it.
Just one.
And one
Oh my
hit, you
gosh.
can do it, right? It's powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. It wasn't that long ago. I've really struggled with anxiety as well. I think a lot of high performers do, right? Always struggling, always struggling, always chasing, always feel like you're being chased by a lion, right? And it it's that next thing, that next thing, that next thing. And then when you get that next thing, you say, what's next? Right?
Right.
Where's the lion? The lion, right? So a lot of high performers feel like this, and myself included. A couple months ago, for me personally, I just said, I'm done. I got to a point, I just threw my hands up in the air and I said, I no longer what I want for myself. I no longer want what I want for myself. I'm done. What I want for myself sucks. I just want what you want for me, whatever that is.
Yeah.
Whatever you want for me is what I want too. And it was total peace, which is the opposite of anxiety.
Right.
I feel like if you surrender, if you throw your hands up in the air and you surrender and just say, I just want what you want for me, whatever that is, no attachments, whatever, I'll take it. Then you step into peace, and that allows you to ease your mind and clear your mind long enough to not be in survival mode, so that you can actually think clearly for the first time in a long time. And then it allows you to be able to hear God talking to you, because God is always talking to us, but the anxious mind can't receive, can it?
Nope.
I call the anxiety like the devil. I honestly say the devil anxiety, because he doesn't want you to pursue what God's calling you to do. So it's all this fluff in your head. Like for me, I grew up in, I was constantly my biological father is in jail, right? So I constantly had a stress growing up. I would rummage through my parents' stuff. I found his birth certificate. I found where he was, and I typed in the social, and I have his number. And throughout the 20 plus years, I would look at him in the database every time. I'd be tracking him. And in my head, all I was saying is, do I go see him? When do I go see him? I was working all these different angles that nothing was even happening. He's not getting out till 2035. And I'm like, do I go do this? Oh my God, if I go to the prison, are people going to find me? Does he not have good like, think of the stuff, especially as a young woman. I'm watching Netflix. I'm seeing all these crime shows, and I'm like, this is crazy. But it didn't take me until I finally came to Jesus, and I go, you know what? I found you. I'm done with the search. I don't know the last time I even looked for him, because it's not about me having this anxiety and stress that I need to see him and get all these answers. Jesus told me that, Taylor, just let it all go, live your life. And if something is meant to be in the next 2 decades or whatever that may look like, you let me do the work, and you just live under your purpose that I've given you. The way that's relieved my life. Oh my God, it'd be Christmas Eve, and I'd be up in my parents' closet calling, like, where is he? Like, is he there? Like, and one time he moved, but I didn't realize he moved locations, and I was freaking out, and I go, oh my God, he's out, but he doesn't want to see his daughter. So there's all these things, a snowball effect that just beats you up like a punching bag. And anxiety really does get the best of you, because then you're in a
until you let it go, like you
feel
did.
a type of way. I had to literally let that
like
go.
Tara did the same thing. Like you put your hands up. Sometimes
surrender. You know everything.
It's like so many things are out of our control. And we try to control them, which creates more anxiety, more stress. Like you said, it's a snowball effect. It keeps growing and growing, because we're trying to control, we're trying to chase, we're trying. But when the minute you do that, surrender
yourself.
It's hard. We're not saying, listen, you're listeners right now. Not easy, you guys. It's not easy. Okay, I'm just going to let it go. And like, we're not trying to sugarcoat anything. It's hard work to even do that. But when you do, and when you actually believe in what you're doing faithfully, that's where you find that peace that passes all understanding. And if you're just saying words, oh, I'm just going to let it go, but it's festering. You actually have to surrender. Like, I know for us, we started getting on our knees. It was new to us. Like I said, I grew up in a Christian home. Taylor grew up with me being in a Christian home. I never got on my knees. And one day, just even in the past 5 years, we're like, we need to get on our knees in a new act of surrender.
Yeah.
Like, we need help, Lord. We're getting on our knees because we see that's what Jesus did in the garden. Jesus shows us he's always praying on his knees. I'm like, maybe that would work for us.
Yeah.
And that's just another form of surrender that took us to another level of peace. So,
Wow. I love that. I love everything about this. And it's so, again, timely because, I just posted 2 days ago, my father recently passed.
and we are
And
so sorry.
I appreciate that. Thank you. That was, hard. I hadn't seen him since I was 14 years old. For a long time, I thought it was a mistake.
Me too.
Yeah.
So that's why when, Taylor's sharing her story, I really relate to that. My dad had a felony record. He was not, let's just say, didn't make a lot of great life choices. He ended up dying alone. And that's the saddest thing, that he went his whole life pushing other people away. But, towards the end of his life, even though I didn't logically know it was the end, I really do believe my soul knew. But, logically, I didn't know. I haven't seen him since I was 14, right? But I wrote him that letter to just forgive. And
Yeah.
I just wanted him to know that Jesus loves him too. And I knew that if I could follow, we're never going to be exactly like Jesus. It's not possible. But what we can always pursue is to be Christ-like. And of course, one of Christ's defining features is his love, his unconditional love, and his ability to forgive, it's grace. And who are we to hold on these resentments of people and not forgive others? And when we hold on to these things, we're actually not allowing ourselves to go forward. And a lot of times it's these things, these areas of stuckness that we have in our past. It's like, we keep looking backwards. We keep looking in the rearview mirror instead of looking out the windshield, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, Tara, I have goosebumps.
I have the chat. Yeah.
Literally, like just how beautiful. I really pray that everyone who this podcast episode has to get out to the whole world, because
Yes.
so many people will be touched and transformed, and lives will be changed with this one episode. I know it because people are desperately wanting to be set free from the bondage they're in, from the demons that are holding them hostage in their minds. And, this is all about, everything we've talked about tonight is about being set free. It really is, in finding the peace, in the forgiveness, in the grace that Jesus doesn't care how bad you've been,
Right.
how far lost you think you are. You're made new every single morning in Jesus, whether you're 60 or 6. Like, doesn't like, now is your time. There's a new beginning. God wants to refine you. I mean, this has been just, I have goosebumps myself. I mean, listening to just everything we're talking about, and knowing that people will be set free. So,
And this is God. This is God all at work, because like I said in the beginning, I didn't know this backstory with Taylor and everything like that. So again, there's a reason why I instinctively knew, call Kelley, pick up the phone, call Kelley. I didn't know it would be this good, but here we are. I'm happy, right? And again, that's all God. That's not me. That's God.
well, now, Tara, you have to go listen to episode 1 on Chosen by Jesus. You're going to hear the whole.
Sorry.
Yes.
Where we really, I get it.
I mean, we did it live. We said, "Are we ready to do this?" Like, we literally went into the studio.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
to have phone
We can't wait to talk to you even more now. This is so
Absolutely.
exciting.
Yeah.
We are so excited for getting the women at this retreat. I mean, this is going to be an amazing opportunity for any woman that just needs to refresh herself and find faith in her calling and her purpose and come out of hiding or whatever she's feeling. Maybe it's shame and pain and everything she's been through. It's just going to be we want to hug them. We can't wait. We can't wait to hug you, Tara.
No, oh my gosh.
I know. I can't wait. I can't wait. It's going to be fantastic. So, again, for everybody coming to this retreat, it's not just, we're not building a wall that can tumble down. What we're building is layers of foundation and structure that withstand the adversities around us. That's the power. The power is the true transformation, because I like to use the analogy of a butterfly. It's simple to understand. A butterfly doesn't change, or else you can change back, right? Everybody's gained 10 pounds and lost it and then gained 10, 20 more, right? It's not about that. It's about transformation, because the butterfly can't transform back into a caterpillar. It's a butterfly, so it can't change back. This is the level of change and transformation that we're looking to instill upon people in general. It's a foundational layer built on faith and calling and your divine assignment, but then the structure of how to actually deploy it with confidence and pursue it.
Yeah.
That is what's missing in the world right there. And we're going to bring it.
We're bringing it. We are great.
I love it. You guys agree? Well, where can obviously we know Chosen by Jesus podcast. What are some other places people can find you guys, learn more about Kelley and Taylor tie-in?
We would love for you to follow us on Instagram at our page, Chosen by Jesus CBJ. You can DM us. We take prayer requests. We'll talk right back to you. That's the best way to find both of us. You can also get on the email list. We send out an email every week, and that is just through my website, kelleytyin.com. My platform where I met you is LinkedIn. That's where I live. So I'm just Kelley Tyin on LinkedIn. And Taylor is,
I would say, mostly just the CBJ page.
Yes.
I am trying to be a little more active. My Instagram is just Taylor Tyin. But I would say more of our content together does fall on the CBJ account.
Yes.
Her LinkedIn, her website is great if you want to get on our email.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say really that Instagram page is your best bet to find us. We'll both be in the DMs. We actively check.
Yes.
We love talking to you guys. Like she said,
Yes.
we'll get prayer requests. We do one at the end of every episode.
Yeah.
We don't have to say your name, but we love to just help pray. A lot of people ask us even where to start. We're literally just here to help everybody.
Right.
Like we said at the beginning, we just want to help. It would be a dream for everybody on this world to be walking by faith with Jesus, because I have a feeling our world would not be turned upside down. It would be a bright light and everybody would just be beautiful and everything would
so much peace.
Yes. So that's what we're here to do.
That's it. One person at a time.
Yes.
One person at a time. And I love the fact too, I've got to bring this up, how Mom, Kelley, you are like the social media influencer, right? And Taylor's like, I'm getting into it.
Is that the funniest thing ever?
So funny.
I know.
I quit social media right before graduating college back in 2020, and I didn't hop on. I told myself until I was
chosen by Jesus
people, though, and made the impact with another person.
Imagine.
So I get on. I go, Mom, how do I get to the notifications? How do I make
what's a reel? She's like, what's a reel?
What's a reel?
I'm like, oh God.
I go, where are my DMs? It was like I had to have a class with her on how to get back up and running.
Oh, that is hilarious.
Don't get.
I love that. Well, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for being guests on this show today. I hope this inspired everyone who listened. I don't think you could have watched this show and not resonated with at least one point. I think the major takeaway I want everybody to go home with is you're chosen, you're called, and through faith, you will be equipped to answer that call. Guys, we will see you on the next episode. Take care.